Welcome to the Preeminence Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew J. Peters, founder of Ascend. Be sure to grab your ultimate guide to preeminence at preeminence.tv. Today we're talking about don't boil your first crop. So tune in, listen up, and get ready to take a focused action on your mission, message, and presence to create accelerated results starting right now. So when I was a kid, I grew up on a dairy farm. The dairy farm, if you're not familiar with it, you have a lot of fields where you plant crops. Some of the crops we had were soybeans and corn. We also had hay, which was alfalfa that we'd give to the cows. Really, you have all those fields to feed the cows, and then you have to store away a lot of that feed for the winter months when you don't have any food off the land, especially when you're living in Wisconsin and you have really tough winters. You need to have a lot stored away. And ever since I was a kid, I was faced with the fact of planting, where you're sowing, and then there's a harvest time where you're reaping. And a lot of times I see people who are new to being in business for themselves, and what happens is they take that first crop, all right, that first crop where they planted and they harvest it and they eat it all. They boil the corn and they eat it all. They have some big feast as if they won the war. They won what was so important. They made a big windfall of money and they spend it all. And a lot of times they spend more than they actually made because they think it's never going to end. It'll always be there. When I was about 8 years old, I would go into a small field we had near our house. It was just on the other side of the driveway, and we would have a small field about an acre of sweet corn. Now, the difference between sweet corn and corn you have for cows is the sweet corn's really soft, and it's sweet you just cook it, and it's very sweet, and you can eat it, and it's very tasty if you haven't had sweet corn before. And I'd go into the field and I'd peel off the corns, I'd pull them from the stalks and I'd put them in a big bushel basket, pull that basket out to the road where my mom or dad would have the pickup truck. I'd heave it onto the pickup truck and then they would drive it out to the highway. We lived on Highway 92 outside of Belleville, Wisconsin, near New Glarus, Wisconsin. Beautiful area out kind of in the rural area of Wisconsin. And so my brother and I would sit on the back of the truck, and we had a little sign that said $1 for a dozen ears of corn. So, people would stop by and they'd give us $1 for a dozen ears of corn, and that was my business. That was one of my first businesses, was to go pick the corn out in the field, put it in a basket, and go sit by the side of the road. And if you think about it today, having a 7 and 8 year old sit by the highway out in the middle of nowhere, that was a simpler time back then. But one of the things I realized, we could sell all the corn. Imagine we sold everything in the field. We have to go out and somehow acquire more seeds. However, if we held back some of the corn, a lot of times we'd hold back like a bushel of corn, and then we would cook it and have a picnic, and we'd invite all of our relatives over, and we'd eat that. But a lot of times what I see people do is they will literally eat all of the profits out of their business, so they have nothing left to invest. Because they were so short-sighted, they thought, I'm going to have a feast off of what I just sowed. When you boil all your corn, none of it is worth planting. You have nothing to plant for your next season. When you start making money, and sometimes it's even a lot of money, I want you to think about what you're going to invest in. I want you to think about putting even more money into your marketing. When you're winning, that's when you double down. That's why you invest even more. When you're losing, that's when you got to invest more in your marketing. You've got to figure things out, and you have to be super attentive onto what the market wants, and you need to listen to them. You need to ask them questions and fix that problem as quickly as possible. If you pull all your money out of marketing, you have nothing to work with. You have nothing to understand what it is you need to adjust so you can move forward and grow. Put a disproportionate amount into your marketing, into the growth of your business. So many times what people do is they starve their business so it never grows. They'll come out with a product, they have a launch, they close the doors, they spend all the money, and it's, oh crap, I now need to go make another product. That is such a ridiculous way of running a business. It's sad. That's not a business. It's a product. It's a product after a product after a product. You make it, you make some money, you spend it all, and you have to do it all over again. A fantastic way to do this is to create a product, put your money into it, put a lot of sweat equity into it, and the money you make, you live off of nothing yet. You put that money back into your product, back into your marketing, and keep learning and keep growing and keep figuring it out until you find that magic formula, and now you have a money-generating machine. And you don't eat everything you make then either, do you? You live lean. You don't buy the fancy sports car. You don't upgrade your house. You don't go on the better vacations yet. All that stuff, as I said in a different episode, was you buy that stuff off of the excess of your profits. When you have more than enough and you are putting money back in, when you are winning, that's the time you double down. All right? Because what happens is when we win, a lot of times we take the profits and we go spend it. We invest in our lifestyle. We think, I've worked so hard, I deserve this. You may deserve it, but guess what? You're starving your business, and now it's just going to go into the ground. The first thing that people normally cut when their business starts going downhill is their marketing. And that is like boiling your last kernels of corn before you plant them. You can't plant what you've eaten. Your action step on your road to preeminence. Man, you have to learn to be preeminent, and one of the things is figuring out your finances. If you are truly invested in you, in becoming preeminent in what you do, you need to think long-term. Short-term, hold back. Deny yourself all those toys that you want to buy yourself. Or even the things you want to buy for your kids or for your significant other. Hold back on those things. Live lean and invest back into your business, and you will be able to reap the rewards year after year after year. Month after month after month, day after day after day, because you've put together systems and you feed the systems that work and you keep tweaking those systems that work. Don't follow the quote-unquote gurus who are doing launch after launch after launch, telling you be like them and you'll have these types of cars and this type of house and you'll have these amazing vacations. That is all smoke and mirrors, and it is fleeting. It is not something that's built to last. You want to build something that will last you. I look forward to helping you with your mission, your message, and your online presence by creating a preeminent self, by following that road to preeminence that you've set up and you've chosen. I'll talk to you tomorrow. This daily podcast is all about you becoming the preeminent voice in your marketplace. So take the consistent and necessary action each and every day on what you've learned over the last few minutes. When, not if, when you're ready to take your business, your organization, your name, your brand, and your commitment to the level of preeminence, head on over to preeminence.tv where you can download your own copy of the Ultimate Guide to Preeminence, enroll in the Elevation program, and join us on one of our next live events. If you're not subscribed, simply visit iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play right now and click subscribe. Until tomorrow, make today and each and every day count towards creating preeminence in your space and a legacy that matters.